All right, here we are again, episode 6, Sorrow Eternal, the podcast. Back again, Chester has the night off. I'm Held22. We've got Mermaider here.
What's up, guys?
We had one of our most viewed reviews this week. Mermaider did a review of the Skogen album.
Yep, Skogen is a black metal band from Sweden. One of the newer black metal bands in the market right now. But the album's great. I really liked it. There was a lot of atmospheric imagery to the album. The guitars are very depressive, very demonic and heavy, incorporated with a lot of double bass action, and the structure, a lot of song structure was changed around and unique, and even the vocals blew me away. Very deep, violent growling throughout the album. But yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it.
Now, you had said you would compare them almost to Burzum.
Yeah, I would compare them not to the actual, not to the way their songs are, the style, but the idea of how they recorded was a lot more raw, I guess. Okay. The recordings weren't professionally done. I'm not sure if they did that on purpose or not, but it definitely gave it that black metal feel to it that fans look for.
Oh yeah, as we talked about the last couple of weeks, that raw feel, it really, it's unpolished. It's just, here's the music, take it or leave it.
Right. But and of course, it's still clear though. It's still clear enough to make out what everything is and what notes are being hit and whatnot. But no, it was good. It was good album.
Definitely want to check out. I haven't listened to it yet, but now it's gone to the top of my list of albums to listen to.
Yeah. Now you also just did a review of the Dammerfarben album. I think that's how you say it, Dammerfarben.
I would be lying if I said I knew. So either way, we're going to butcher the name. So we'll say Dammerfarben. They're from Germany. They list themselves as black metal, but there's so much more to it. I don't even know that I could throw them in the black metal arena, because really the only thing black metal about them, there's somewhat like that high speed drumming, that snare cymbal kick in high repetition, but right. A lot of it is very folky, and they've got a little bit of violin in there. The key thing I have to point out is that almost every song on the album has an acoustic intro and an acoustic outro, and we're not talking 10 seconds. We're talking a minute to 2 minutes at the beginning and end, that are like these beautiful acoustic parts, or like electric guitar, but effects on the guitar really rings out. Yeah. I couldn't even believe what I was listening to, because it wasn't what I expected it to be. Right. But it was great, and I think in the review I mentioned I really thought it was what makes this album unique is that it's a black metal album, but it's more beauty than beast. Oh. So definitely one to check out if you haven't already, because I think they have potential to be pretty huge in the metal world.
Now they're a fairly new band as well.
Yep, they are brand new. It was actually started as a solo project by one of the members, and he kind of over the recording added another guy and another guy and another guy. And now it's a 4-piece.
Right.
But yeah, definitely new, and I think good things are coming for them.
Well, now you say that it's kind of on the black metal side. How's the recording with that? Is that anything similar to like Burzum?
No, it's definitely professionally done. The recording is very good. The only time I would say the recording even comes off raw is sometimes during those acoustic parts. There's a little bit of extra reverb that you'll pick out, where it almost sounds like it was recorded in a big empty room, and right. Maybe they caught a little reverb in that. But other than that, the recording is very well done. I guess they're actually signed to what's considered to be a major label in their home country of Germany. So that's good for them.
Well, today we're going to have we have a new topic, since Chester can't be here tonight. He was supposed to have done some homework in researching Dimmu Borgir's new album, Abrahadabra. We will continue that next time he's here. For now, we do have a new topic that involves the evolution of bands, which we kind of touched on last week. Kind of just mentioned it. But that there are a lot of bands out there nowadays that have been around for a while, who over the time have changed for the better, and then there are bands that have also changed for the worse. What do you think about that?
Well, I know you and I have talked about this a lot, and there's some bands that we've really liked, and then they put out an album that is such a huge departure from what they've done before, and you just either love it or you hate it. Yep. And I think one of the biggest ones that we've talked about a lot is Mastodon, because obviously you're a huge Mastodon fan, as am I. But if you take the progression of their albums and you go up through Blood Mountain. It was all very heavy, it's very raw. You know, it just pounded you.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden, when Crack the Sky comes out, you get this psychedelic burst. And at points, you don't even know you're listening to the same band. You know the foundation is there, but you're not even sure that it's the same band anymore.
Yeah, they got very progressive within that last album.
I mean, yeah, they got, you know, definitely, and they evolved. And obviously, as far as their career is concerned, they definitely evolved for the better. I mean, they sold a shit ton of Crack the Sky.
Yeah.
You know, the concerts were sold out when they played it live. So for their career, it went well. But how do you feel about Mastodon as a band, knowing that, you know, they were, you know, this heavy as hell band, and then they went to that?
I mean, I like it. I like that they can change it up and keep everybody on their toes, but, you know, keep their fans, and even, I'm sure they've gained so many new fans also just from changing their style. But now I'm curious as to where do they go from here, and I know that they're working on their new album, but I'm a little worried that, I mean, it's tough when you come out with an album like this that you want to say is probably going to be their best work they've ever done, and might be their best that they ever will do. And yeah, like, who knows if they continue to put out albums like this one, or if they go back to more their roots and get a little heavier maybe, or maybe mix it all together, which would be cool, you know.
I mean, I don't really think they could go wrong.
Yeah.
But there's only so much changing you can do before you're now a completely different band.
Right.
You know, a good example, we were talking about the band The Showdown, which some of you may or may not know.
Yeah.
Their first album in 2004 was, I would say it bordered on hardcore. It was definitely metalcore at best, but it was, you know, very close to hardcore.
Uh-huh.
Then Temptation Comes My Way comes out, and it's a like southern metal album. It almost sounded like almost a watered down Pantera,
right,
where you could definitely see, you know, it was about as straight southern metal as you could get.
Yep.
You know, I really enjoyed that album. Backbreaker comes out. I swear to you, I still don't believe it's the same band.
Yeah.
They went right back to the metalcore, hardcore style, and we were talking about how do they play that live? How do you jump back and forth between those two albums?
Yeah. I wonder what their playset would be, and I imagine that a lot of their fans are more of the hardcore scene of kids, and
they were probably pretty pissed off when Temptation Comes My Way came out, and they went, "Oh, what the hell is this?"
Yeah, and then they and then they go right back to. So basically, they went from growling and then to the more rough, clean singing, and then right back to heavier growling.
So I wonder if maybe Temptation Comes My Way was like their mistake, like they felt like, "Oh man, we probably shouldn't have changed. Let's go back and do what we were doing."
Right, but the funny thing is I'd say it's probably their best album.
Yeah, and definitely their best-selling album.
Yep. So why? Yeah. So, you know, I don't know why.
But that's kind of the underlying theme of the whole thing is these bands change their sound. And there's one thing I really hate to use this as an example, but let's say the band Korn. Years ago, I was into Korn back before I got into real metal. Korn was one of those gateways that we talk about, but 1994, when they released their first album, you're in a certain point of your life. You're 20-something years old, and you can sing about your teenage angst and your how tough it was for you to develop and everything. But how can you still be making the same music when you're 40?
Yeah.
And that's something that a band like Korn hasn't learned. They're trying to make the same music today in 2011 as they were in 1994. 17 years have gone by. You're not the same band. You're not the same people.
Yeah.
So from the business end, you have to adapt to your sound if you're going to stay relevant to sell albums, but even from the personal end, you just can't sing about the same stuff.
Right. So over time, you almost have to kind of change, or at least the topics you talk about.
Yeah, you can't talk about, your daddy pissing you off anymore when you're 40. It's just kind of a tired routine. But, I mean, for instance, Amon Amarth, as we've talked about in weeks gone by, you know exactly what you're getting each album. You never have to worry. They're not changing anytime soon. They're into the same thing, and you're going to get the same thing.
Yep, and it's always good.
It's always good, and because they know what they're doing. Yep. They're they have a set thing. This is what we do. We're about this mythology, and here's our style, and we're not going to change. But then that doesn't work for every band. Yep. Take Metallica. Metallica might be the most controversial band of this nature. They're in the Big Four tour that are supposed to be the Big Four thrash legends. Mm-hmm. Metallica hasn't been a thrash band for 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, the departure from Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets, through And Justice for All. The Black Album was the turning point.
Right.
Then you get up to Load and Reload, and again, you have the guy who wrote the song One singing, give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't even make sense to me.
Well, I wonder, why do you think that a band like that would change? Or go in that direction, especially after everything they have backing them, everything under their belt, and they just take this direction. Do you think it's to gain new fans?
Sometimes I think that's the case, because if you make your music more accessible, then you're going to get those people who maybe they thought Metallica was too heavy before. You put out an album like Load and Reload and then Saint Anger, and maybe you get the people who, now they go, oh, Metallica's kind of just a hard rock band. And you can maybe get played more on rock radio, and so maybe it was a business move. Who knows? They don't think they've changed that much. They just think they're better musicians now.
I was gonna say, but now changing for that reason, isn't that kind of more considered being a sellout?
That's the question.